questions from people all over the country. We'll see how yours stand up against all those other
I've already read through them. There's some pretty good ones.
Okay.
I will say that it became, listen, I'm more of a quality over quantity kind of person, but you didn't even get a staple. There was only one page today, so I'll stretch it out. You know what? I'll add to your questions, you know? All right.
I know.
Are you guys good? Everybody's feeling good? Okay, good. All right. Okay, Curtis. Curtis says, Tegan, how do you feel your songwriting has changed from the days when things may have started analog on a guitar or piano versus nowadays where professional production can begin immediately and simultaneously with raw songwriting in Logic or other software program? It's a great question. To be honest, mostly, well, for the new album, Crybaby, I wrote all my songs the way I used to write back in the olden days, and like I always start on guitar. And even though I have Logic and I have technology, with this album, Sara had so many songs written when the production for the record was always already sort of being informed by what she was doing, that I didn't try to capture that in my demo. So, you know, for example, an album like The Con, I spent like dozens and dozens of hours tracking my songs and laying down ideas on the computer. And this time I would just, you know, finish writing a song, record it very simply, and then send it to Sara, and Sara would reconstruct the production. So for me, my songwriting wasn't really influenced by the digital world this time around, which it was like very heavily for like Heartthrob and Love Me to Death, for example. So I think I go back and forth. I love writing in Logic. I love having all those tools and toys, but there is something about just, for me, I crave being able to just sit down and play every song I write on the guitar. To me, if you can do that and hold people's attention, then you've written a great song. And then Curtis, you asked me, this seems to be a culminating session in a series of VIP Q&A sessions across North America that took place in October and in November. Which audience question across the various sessions so far was the most thoughtful and engaging to you? Oh, it's so hard. There were so many good ones. One of the things that maybe instead of, I'm not gonna be able to like maybe pluck one right out of my brain, but what I will say is that for pretty much like 20 years, we will inevitably do things, events where there's a Q&A, and sometimes it's moderated by another grown-up, sometimes they just pass a microphone around like all like wild styles, and what I will say is that on the spot when people are asked, do you have a question? The same questions get asked over and over and over again, which is not because I think that people are not, you know, curious or individual or whatever, but I guess there is like a sort of like, you know, a curiosity that rises to the top, and when you're just put on the spot, those are the questions that come out. So like, it's always like, Sara, which song of Tegan's do you like? And Tegan, which song of Sara's do you like? Like, every single time, if people, and then there's always someone who says, hi, I don't really have a question, but it's my friend's birthday right now, / my girlfriend, / my mom, whoever it is. Can you please say happy birthday to her right now? That one's one that comes up too. But anyways, the one thing that has been so cool about the Q&A on this tour is that because people submitted their questions in advance, I feel like we ended up getting a wider spectrum of questions, and we got to sort of see where the curiosity flow is with people right now about, you know, where we're at in our songwriting, or as people, or as a new parent, or whatever it is. And it's been very inspiring to think about how to channel that into future tours, but also into our writing on our blog on Substack called I Think We're Alone Now. And it's just been very cool. So I'm excited to sort of like download all of what we've learned really about you and where you're at, and it's been really joyful. Jordan asks, as you get older and your lives change, dogs, kids, houses, do you think you'll retire from the music industry to pursue different interests, to be with your family more, and be away from the public eye? This feels like a leading question. It's like an instruction manual for how to get out of this thing. You know, look, we have been doing that to some degree. You know, we haven't toured extensively since 2017. Part of the reason why we wrote our memoir was to do something creative and try something different, and not just be in that sort of endless cycle we've been in since 1999. I think for us, in order to still really treasure this experience, which is being on stage and connecting with people, we had to stop doing it constantly, and we are compulsive people, so we just would have kept doing it. And so we created obstacles and distractions. So writing a book and then making a television show, we were basically like throwing things in front of us to slow us down. And it's been really good for us. I think being at home is really important, and building family is important. We've been saying this across the country. I think something shifted for us in the last few years, where we think legacy is about the impact you have on your friends and family and the world, and it isn't necessarily about how many records you sell or how many tickets you sell. And I think we've just started to shift our focus into like, what are the most impactful ways we can approach creativity and our audience, but also in our own lives. Like, if we're never home, how are we impacting our family and friends, and how are we making long-lasting relationships, and if we're never with those people? So I think we're at the, like, we've passed the halfway mark where we've had to readjust, and it's been going great, and it's made being on tour so fun and so special. And I think we've been thinking of it less like getting out of music and just adding to the Tegan and Sara world, and just saying like, family is important, a dog is important, travel is important, you know, writing is important, and just added to that world. So I don't think we're gonna ever eject entirely from music, but I don't wanna ever grow tired of it, and I don't wanna ever give up, and I don't ever wanna like not love being on stage. So we have to make sure we keep it, you know, we do it well and right. And we're old. It's very exhausting to play shows every single night. I think like there are many people who have been following us around. I mean, Cam up front here did the entire tour. You're fucking tired, right? That's tired. And you have to get yourself from A to B. We get to sleep on the bus, but as nice as the bus is, and I am not complaining about it at all, you are still moving and in a vehicle. Like you never get more than like 45 minutes of rest at a time, and it's a lot. It's really hard. It's hard on your body. So it's like, we love it, but it's also like, we're old now. I like to think of it like I've had a taste of the good life. The good life where you sleep in your own bed, and you're very rested in the morning, and you think to yourself, damn, I look pretty good, you know, for my age. And then I got back out on tour, and I was like, I'm dead inside. I mean, I don't want to complain. I mean, I will say this was a good one. We stayed at pretty decent places, but like, I usually mostly just shower at the venue because I'm lazy. And like, I had 3 ice cold showers, and like, I'm a 42-year-old lady. Like, I don't want to take ice cold showers at the backstage anymore. Like, fuck that. Anyway. Okay. Jordan, also, this is, I don't know if I'm saying this name right, but it's Jordan, and then in parentheses it's Rebecca, and then Rebecca Beaucamp Hole. Are you one person? 2 people. You're one person. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge, because sometimes, then I had this moment where I was like, is there 3 people that are asking the questions? Great, very cool name. You also asked, do you feel any anxiety or fear about releasing new music in regards to how those closest to you may feel? And do you have any stories about someone thinking a song involves them, but they were incorrect? And I can tell you that I don't feel very anxious about that, but I think that that's partly because we've been doing this thing where we write about our experiences and relationships for over 25 years. And I think we do it in a fairly respectful, mindful way. And most of the people who, at least that I've written songs about, know and seemed fine about it. However, I do feel like, at least on my side of the equation, there are a number of women who I think wish that I hadn't written songs about them. Not at the time, like I think at the time they were like, great, and then I think now it must haunt them. And I don't say that even like, I don't even mean it to be funny, I mean it like I actually feel a kind of like, God, it must be annoying, like every time we put out a new album and we're just everywhere again, and our faces, and I definitely feel like there's like this public haunting that happens, and I also feel like I know that from having been involved at a time with another public figure, and I just remember always being like, I mean, I didn't want anything bad to happen to her, but I was like, why can't she just be a dentist, you know? Yeah, and Tegan, do you have any? I don't think I've ever had
I think I
anyone
resonate with what Sarah's saying. I don't worry about the people that I wrote songs
But you have a
about.
song about, you have had the experience though, the second experience.
Yes, so I was going to say that. I don't worry about the people I actually wrote music like for or was inspired by. I think they really know who they are, and I also have been really forthcoming about the fact that I write about my own perspective and that over time I reprocess it and attach it to new eras. So I've never really sat down and been like, today I'm writing a song about this person right now. It's over time I formulated an understanding that I was writing about them, but I have lots of people in my life who think that I wrote them an entire record. Like there's 3 people who they're like so jealous about me. And I'm like, no. But I think echoing what Sarah said, but making it about our friends and family is that like we've been doing this our whole adult lives and we take up a lot of space. And if what people need to understand that or enjoy it or connect to it is to be like, that's about me, then it's fine. That's completely fine. I did one time say on stage that a song was about an ex-girlfriend of mine and it wasn't, and then she was at that show and she was very mad at me. Yeah, it's fine, I blocked her. I'm just keeping an eye on time. Where are we at? Okay, great. So much time. No, totally. Sometimes we get going and then I'm like, if you don't hear your question, it's not because we didn't like your question, which is, sometimes we save questions for Substack. Paula asked, hi, we're dog moms from Oakland, visiting Vancouver for the show. Our dogs are back home with their dog sitter. Since you're pet moms too, we'd love any recommendations for best spots around Vancouver to pick up locally made dog treats or cute pet toys, accessories that we can bring home as souvenirs for our pups. Thanks. Oh my God, that's such a great question. So, my partner does most of the shopping for our dog because I don't have a driver's license. I just want you to know if you were cat moms, I would tell you that there's like there are wonderful cat stores, but no, you're a dog person and you wanted Tegan to answer. You get nothing. It can't be that hard. Oh yeah, there's a place on Main that's awesome. Yeah, and it's big. It's not that far up. It's only it's before 16th, I think, right? Not helpful to people from out of town, but just Google dog store on Main Street. There's probably like 80. What? There's like 80 pet stores, dog stores on Main. But it's a big one. It's a big one. You can look it up. Yeah, great. I didn't know if I found. We found you somebody to help. Okay, but also that's so sweet that you came here and left your dogs. That's so great. I saw Georgia today for the first time in 6 weeks. Yeah, and so she's a German Shepherd Border Collie, which was really vocalizing a lot when she saw me. Like she didn't growl or bark, which is great because she's got a lot of impulsivity, and that's how she like does just. It's really hard not to get her to bark and growl when she first sees somebody because she's so excited. But she was like, oh. When she saw me, she was like flipping out. Yeah, it was like one of those videos of like the guy who comes home from the war and like this dog is like holding him and crying. It was basically that. 3 Dog Bakery. Yes, that place is awesome. It's badass. Thank you so much. What's your name? Michelle's got you. You don't need me. If you need anything, hit up Michelle. Michelle is your go-to while you're in Vancouver. Look like you get any great advice, probably a great place to eat. If you're looking for an apartment, what neighborhoods work, that's your guy. Okay, so Stephanie asks, can you describe how you're feeling before the last show in this tour versus the shows at the beginning? Well, I definitely feel a lot more tired at the end of the tour, but I sort of feel a sense of accomplishment. I guess I was kind of nervous at the beginning of the tour, kind of like seeing, I've really missed touring and I've become very nostalgic and sentimental about it. But I also was it's been 3 years and I kept having this feeling don't get so excited that I was worried that it wouldn't live up to my excitement or it wouldn't feel the same way that it felt before. And I can tell you that the shows have felt wonderful. It has felt really, really terrific to be back on stage and playing music. And I think, thank you. And I think that it was reassuring. So I feel more reassured and confident that we've sort of re-entered music and we're gonna keep playing shows and we're gonna keep doing things. And I feel my confidence has been built up by the tour that we're doing the right thing.
And but definitely tired. If I didn't say tired at the beginning, I mean it now. I really mean it. And also from Stephanie, what are some of your favorite perks that come with being Tegan and Sara? Oh man, everything about her. It's so great being us. No, it really is. Like, we've spent our entire adult life making stuff and traveling the world, and we have friends everywhere. And like, even the horror stories you hear about the industry, like, we run a major label, and we, you know, a year ago, we owed them a record, and we said, we don't want to owe you a record. We want to be free agents. We've never owned our own albums. We've never done our own thing. We've been signed since we were 19. Can you just let us go? And they were like, yes. And I just feel like we're really lucky. We're surrounded by wonderful people. We have incredible friends. We've had amazing luck in the industry. We were, you know, with our first managers for 18 and a half years. We don't hate each other somehow after 23 years of travel and business. Like, we're just so lucky. It's so great. And the perks are just that we get to decide. We have so much agency and power in our life. We get to decide what we want to do, but
not enough power to get Taylor Swift tickets. And if that makes you feel better, I know a lot of you were very upset.
Looking for like straight up perks. Like, we just spent a month on the road wearing a bunch of like independent designers, tagging them in every post, and they were all like, "Hey, give us our clothes back."
Yeah,
now. We don't get anything for free.
Like, sometimes you do get, like, somebody will send you like a drink at a bar, or if you, like, I don't know. There's so many great perks, but I just want you to know we're very normal, and we can't also access things that everyone wants. Okay, remember I came out and I was like, we don't even have a staple, but like, there are questions on here I'm not getting to. I promise these are great questions, but we're gonna sing a few songs. But if you don't know our Substack, we have this great blog where we can put songs and music, and we write letters to each other, and we just are a bit woo-woo. We just go out there and just write whatever we want, and we've been answering questions that we don't get to on there, and it's actually really fun. And the greatest part is that if you're not already a subscriber, it's free. You can sign up for free if you wanna hear your question. There's more, but I'll get to them on Substack. And now, Tegan.
Yeah, I gotta play a song from the new album. This is